All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I want to say good morning to everyone. What a pleasure it is to welcome you to our quarterly connections today, to our Dark Sky Cooperative's wonderful meeting that has been going on now for many years. I'm Dr. Troy Allen. I'm grateful to host today's conversation, and I want to recognize one of our co-hosts and the director, Sadie Wild, and our director, Jordan Smith, for being with us today. They help prepare today's sessions and support me in so many ways. We're so glad that you're with us today. These quarterly connections, of course, are designed to bring people together from across our region and really those who care about dark skies, stewardship, education, public engagement, and many other ways our communities enjoy the night sky. You'll notice that we are now using the name Dark Sky Cooperative. And thanks to Dr. Smith for all his work. And this is an intentional shift away from the title Colorado Plateau Dark Sky Cooperative. While the Colorado Plateau remains deeply, of course, an important part of our story, our partnership and conversations have grown beyond our geography. And so we outgrew the name. And so the name now better reflects the broader scope of our communities, our parks, our organizations, our educators, our advocates, our artists, and our scientists who stand to support our dark sky stewardship. So today's conversation is one I have personally been looking forward to for a very long time because it sits at the intersection of art and science, technology, storytelling, and of course, stewardship. When we talk about dark skies, we often begin with the practical pieces, right? Lighting, policy, retrofits, education. And all of that matters so much to us. But there's one piece that matters just as much, and how we help people care about this. How do we invite people into a relationship with the night sky? How do we help young people see themselves not just observers of science, but as participants in wonder, in awe, and creativity? And how do we translate complex environmental issues into experiences that feel meaningful and alive? So we are so excited today to welcome our guest speakers, Agnes Chavez, to our Dark Sky Cooperative, and her guest, Gina Pearson. They are going to provide to us some wonderful insight today. I've been especially excited to have Agnes on our quarterly connections because she cares so much about art and science, technology, youth, and place-based learning, and of course, the night sky. On a personal note, I found out that Agnes attended the California College of the Arts, which was the California College of Arts and Crafts, if I'm right, Agnes.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, that was a while ago, which is where my son currently studies architecture. And so there's this small personal connection between my family and Agnes that makes this introduction especially meaningful. You see, CCA has long been a place where art and design and imagination and built environments, they come together. And I think that same spirit shows up beautifully in Agnes's work. Agnes is the founder and director of STEMarts Lab. She's a new media artist and educator, creative producer whose work brings together art and science and technology. STEMarts Lab uses SciArt, the intersection of science and art, to create educational experiences that empower youth and communities through creativity, inquiry, technology, and of course, my favorite, storytelling. Today, Agnes will share more about STEMarts Lab's science methodology projects such as AstroTour, AstroTrail, Connecting Land, Earth, and Sky, and my favorite International Space Messenger project, which she will talk about today. We're grateful and welcome Agnes's guest also, Gina Pearson, who recently retired after 40 years of public service, much of it, of course, in the National Park Service, where she contributed deeply to dark sky projects across the West. And we'll let Agnes talk more about Gina in a few minutes. Agnes, I'll turn the time over to you. Welcome, and welcome to all of our guests. And the time is now yours. Thank you.
All right. And it's 45 minutes, right?
You bet. We'll have some Q&A and all of that good stuff. You bet.
All right. Let me share my screen.
There we go. Perfect.
And you can just see my screen right now?
Yes,
Looks
and we
clear
can,
to you?
yep,
All
it
right.
looks perfect. You bet.
All right. Well, it is an honor to be here with all of you with this shared mission of protecting our night skies. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So today I'd like to share how STEMarts Lab uses SciArt, which is bringing together of art, science, technology, and storytelling to help youth and communities to develop a deeper relationship with the night sky, with public lands, and with our shared future. So the challenge of our relationship with the night sky. The challenge is not simply helping people to understand dark skies. The challenge that we focus on is helping people develop a relationship with the night sky by 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 getting them to feel connected to it. So how do people protect what they feel connected to? So at STEMarts, we use art, science, technology, and storytelling to create these experiences that foster connection, participation, and stewardship. I'm going to share an example, lots of examples today, because it's the best way to see what it is that we do. So this is a short video. And if you can't hear anything, let me know. Should come out good now.
What do you see out there in the dark? For thousands of years, we've looked to the stars to find our place in the universe. Reach out and feel the universe.
Agnes, you're muted.
Me? That's strange that it muted me. It played fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was weird. Thank you for letting me know. So wonder is often viewed as the end goal, but for us, it's the starting point. We use awe and curiosity as entry points that can lead to understanding, participation, and ultimately this concept of stewardship. One of the things that makes STEMarts unique is that our work doesn't stop at state or national borders. Through our international exchange programs, we're creating opportunities to connect New Mexico to the world and the world back to New Mexico. So the night sky is something we all share, and different cultures may tell different stories about it, but it belongs to all of us. So we travel with our installations. This short video shows space messengers at Planetario Lunaria in Guadalajara, Mexico, during their wonderful event called Noche de las Estrellas. It's one of New Mexico's largest public astronomy celebrations. Through the SciArt installation, participants explored space science, creativity, and their own relationship to the cosmos while contributing messages about our collective future. Let's take a look.
Oscar Galicia, and I am part of Space Messengers from the city of Guadalajara in Mexico.
Futures thinking tells us that the future is not something that will happen to you tomorrow, but is being created by everyone today.
I find very inspiring because it means that we can make different choices now, and we can make choices that can lead us to a different place and a better future.
All the stars are moving very fast, and if there were no dark matter, they would fly off into space.
El avatar le explicó a mi hermana cómo un asteroide chocó con la Tierra y la Tierra se partió.
It was an amazing experience to speak with experts in native tribes, in physics, and even with a scientist who works in the Central Collider.
There's this round accelerator called the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. It's 27 kilometers around. And at 4 places along that accelerator, we bring protons through each other.
Talking about the interstellar future of humans allowed us to fly our imaginations. There are many possibilities in the space.
All right. So to support this process, we developed what we call the Steward learning model. It guides learners through a cycle of observation, exploration, creation, reflection, and action. The goal is to help people move from being passive consumers of information to active contributors and stewards. So here you can kind of see how we break it down and the acronym that we've created to kind of capture what it is that we do. So first of all is to sense, and that's that really that's where the immersive SciArt experience really comes in, to create something that you feel with all your senses, to locate yourself in the interconnected systems and to awaken this empathy. Choose to think, to understand how systems function and shape lived experiences. So we have our scientists that you saw in the video that we bring in to share their passion about space through their particular fields. Explore, to imagine what should be created within the place and context. Then 4 is to actually work and transform these ideas into collaborative, informed, participatory art. So the students actually work with us as part of our team. And together we activate, bringing art into the community and public life with intention. And then 6 is to reflect. We always have ethical explorations about the impact on the environment, on space, on our planet. And finally, to decide and move forward with informed stewardship and care. And we provide those opportunities for all of these components or these pieces to the puzzle. So the other thing that is very important to us is this cosmic perspective. It's woven through everything we do as a laboratory that really is an internship and ambassadorship program. It's teaching kids basic skills about how to thrive in the 21st century. But whether we're teaching a LinkedIn workshop or we're teaching how to, learn about what's happening at CERN in particle physics, it's always has this cosmic perspective. Because astronomy naturally invites us to think beyond ourselves. Looking at the night sky reminds us that we're part of larger systems, ecological, cultural, and cosmic. And this perspective really helps to cultivate empathy, responsibility, and long-term thinking. The night sky just naturally creates that perspective, as we all know. So I'm going to show another video now that kind of, again, exemplifies this work that we do.
My name is Henrietta Gomez. That's my paycheck name. I always say that. My real name is the Stewardship, which was given to me by my grandfather. Sometimes we climb up on the roofs of a house and just lay there and start we didn't have telescopes, but we were able to appreciate the night sky.
And I just want to spend a few minutes talking to you all about your relationship with the night sky and about how it can make you a better person. But often when we think about space, we can forget that Earth is part of space. We are part of space, and space is nature too. And the same processes that are happening here are happening on a big scale as well, and we're kind of that.
Giant. So it's one of these.
Oh, sickness? Is that wild?
Look. The other thing really important about Devon is that it's interchanging.
But yeah, it's supposed to be selected events for these events. That's a star, yeah. It's very cool. Okay. Very cool. And it is a lot hotter and a lot bigger than our sun. And then the last one is even bigger and hotter. It's a blue gas giant. Because I never really see. You can see all the planets. You can see deep sky objects on here. So if you want to know more about that, you click on it.
This is a design called the Newtonian reflector because it was invented by Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton, you're right.
And because it's blue means it's hotter and younger, just like with flames, for example.
I really like space because I feel like it gives me like something to think about when I'm like, oh, like my problems are so big, but then I'm like, oh, actually, no, they're really not. Like we live on a tiny little planet, on a tiny solar system, like in the cosmic web of everything. And it's just like, kind of like grounding for me. I'm like, okay, nothing really matters that much. It's like, which you can start. Well, what is it? I love that, yeah.
So how do we do this? So at STEMarts, our work doesn't happen with a single discipline, as you can see. It happens through this ecosystem of relationships. So our youth leaders, they come into our program and they work alongside our artists, scientists, technologists, educators, cultural practitioners. As you saw, we had Henrietta Gomez, who's a tribal elder who talks to our students, and of course, community partners. And together, we together explore the questions that cannot be solved through a single way of knowing. So this transdisciplinary approach creates opportunities for young people to move beyond learning about science or art and to begin contributing to real-world challenges through this collaboration, creativity, and stewardship. So AstroTour, which you've already seen some glimpses of, that last one we saw was AstroTour. We showed it for the very first time at the Harwood Museum here in Taos. It's one example of this methodology in action. So if we break it down, how it works. So first, they work with Arwen Hubbard. She's a NASA Solar System ambassador, and she's also majored in planetary science. And they learn about the sky, constellations. They write scripts about what they each get their own constellation, and they write scripts about what they learned from, and they have to explore it in this multisensory way. So they learn the science, they understand space science, systems, and this cosmic perspective. And then they work with our team of artists and to do the storytelling, imagining, and how are they going to create their own interpretation of that constellation. And then they work with our team of creative technologists to using a software or code, a free browser-based software called p5.js. And it allows them to build these animations that you saw that appear in the phone. So the person scans the QR code, they point it to the constellation, and the artwork of the student appears in the sky. We use the same technology that you have in Stellarium. It's actually geo-mapped to the constellation. So wherever you are in the world, if you scan our QR code, you will see the student's artwork in the sky instead of the Stellarium augmented reality layer of information. And so that is part of their learning. They learn how to do that. And then, of course, as you saw in the video, they then are the experience guides. They have to communicate what they learn to the public. And that is the most empowering part. Usually they get all these little pieces and they're trying to figure out how it's all going to come together. But once they have that actual real world event experience, that's when they really get it. And they just jump right into that role and then just love it. One of the girls told me, and I asked her, how did she feel afterwards? She said, smart. And of course, listen to them. They are smart. And this gives them the chance to experience that. So our goal is not simply to teach astronomy or particle physics or astrophysics. It's to help young people become science communicators, storytellers, experience guides, and community leaders who can share their knowledge with others. Here's another example of students, of the ambassadors that were at this site, explaining to someone their script, which they had to interpret in their own way and adapt for everybody that came up to them.
Ursa Major, which is one of the major constellations, it's known as different things in different cultures. We know it as the wagon in Europe, or plow or ladle. We're able to use it for navigation.
So this is the Andromeda constellation. It is named after a Greek princess.
Okay.
It's most recognizable for its Andromeda galaxy, which is located right there.
That's their artwork.
So it's about 2.5 million light years away. It is actually one of the biggest ones in our local area. It has about 1 trillion stars in it. The most important thing about it really is that it is a spiral galaxy, and it's the same as ours. So we can look into that galaxy and learn about our own, since it's the same type.
So this Steward model, some traditional education often focuses on knowledge acquisition. What facts did you learn? Can you remember them? But through the Steward model, it takes a different approach. We ask, what will you do with what you understand? So they literally have to learn from Arwen and then right away apply it, right? So whether students are creating an astro tour experience like this, or contributing to Space Messengers, the other video you saw, or participating in citizen science or leading community events, the goal is not simply learning about the world, it's actually putting them in a position of contributing to it. And that's the shift from knowledge to contribution. That's where the stewardship begins for us. So now we'll jump to Space Messengers, expanding the conversation. So I'm going to play another video. So while Astro Tour focuses on our relationship with the night sky, Space Messengers expands the conversation. And the project invites people to reflect on humanity's place in the cosmos and to imagine the futures we want to create together.
Step into an immersive universe where data, light, motion, sound, and artificial intelligence converge. At the heart of the project is the guiding question: what is our place in the universe, and how can reflecting on cosmic phenomena, scientific discovery, and the intersection of technology, ethics, and society inspire greater care for each other, our planet, and our shared future? As participants move through the space, their gestures trigger an infrared camera mirroring their movement in a glowing digital silhouette.
Well, I have not ever seen anything like this before.
The experience transforms participant reflections into a poetic, expressive landscape, creating a stimulating environment of ambient tones, layered voices, motion, and meaning, helping to shape how we imagine the universe and our role within it.
So we're now expanding this experience of Space Messengers, which, by the way, was generated and created. This is the latest iteration of it that you just saw, which is now AI-driven. So we received funding from the Patrick J. McGovern Foundation last year to integrate AI into the work that we're doing, reaching into our communities to empower youth through art, science, and technology. So the first thing we did is we took that Space Messengers installation and created a vertical AI agent. And I'm going to share a little bit more. That's what that last video explained. And now we're taking that video and we're that Space Messengers installation and turning it into a web interface that will make it more accessible. So right now we have to produce this large scale installation. This is going to be browser based, and then it allows people anywhere in the world to contribute and explore the messages about our shared future. So I'm going to just in a minute just kind of get out of this presentation to kind of take you to the website. And what excites me most about this platform is that it transforms participants from consumers into contributors. So we're not talking about the youth now, we're talking about anyone who now accesses this website. So projects like AstroTour and Space Messengers, they invite people to contribute knowledge, stories, questions, and aspirations while exploring humanity's relationship to the cosmos. So this is the steward model in action, right? We're moving from knowledge to contribution and from individual voices to shared futures. So I'm going to just take a minute to exit here. Stop sharing. And move into my website. Was everything okay? Just a quick check-in, because when you're doing this presentation, you can't see anything, it's silence. So
it's great.
Yep. Agnes, it's great. Yeah. Okay. Two thumbs up. We're okay, doing great.
Awesome. All right. So this is really exciting for us. It is what you're seeing here is in beta right now. So what we did is we moved it from an installation that existed in Touch Designer, which is requires a lot of setup and installation to create those big scale installations you saw, and we turned it into 3J. It's 3J. I always forget 3J. So 3JS, something like that. The code that makes it become browser based and easier to load. So you don't even have to download anything. You just go to this website here. And if you see here, this is the question that I put. This can be changed with this. I'll show you the back end in a minute. And so I want to make sure my timing is good. Doing good. So why do dark skies matter to you? So a person comes over here and they can start to explore, and when they click in, they can actually see all the thousands of messages that we have collected since 2020 when this project began. And in the earlier versions, which you saw, the messages were just floating flat on the screen. I don't know if you remember, they were just floating straight up, but now they're in a three-dimensional space. So you can see here that this silhouette, which you saw in the other video, was an actual interactive silhouette. You would walk up to the screen and you would see yourself as the silhouette. That's how it is in the physical installation. And then you could move with your hands and you could actually access the videos or the messages. So in this virtual version, we are going to be adding the videos, which are not here yet. But what's really cool is that because of the AI LLM that we built, we were able to create these categories, which are our interdisciplinary categories for exploring the universe through art, through artificial intelligence, nature, space science, space exploration, space ethics, cultural knowledge, futures thinking. And so when a person comes here, they could click through just to see what's inside. Taking a little bit to load. While it's loading, when I'm on Zoom, it's a little slower. And then when they're ready, they can go in here and we can adapt this question for different projects, right? So I put, what do dark skies matter to you? This is beta right now, so I'm just going to put anything. And you put your name, and then you hit send. It's going to be a little slower because on a Zoom call, everything is a little bit slower. So the first thing is you see your message and your name become part of this living archive. And then the vertical agent is actually categorizing it. So I keep saying the same thing in all my presentations. I got to get more creative. So basically it puts it in there and it put it in green, here and now. So here and now is exactly for that. So when you have an installation like this, most people don't know what to say. And so they'll say things like, amazing, right? So we just created the here and now for that kind of just feeling kind of messages. But they can also ask questions. We have an AI messenger that has been trained like an agent, and we call it we call it the AI messenger, and it's not here yet. But people can actually ask it scientific questions, any kind of questions about the universe, and it was trained by our scientists, by our artists. It has, filters. We've tested it out and it works really wonderfully. That's going to be integrated in here as well, so you can ask questions and explore and get inspired by all the messages that people have shared about the project or about the universe and their relationship to the cosmos. Then on the back end, this is really the exciting part. So now we can control and see all the messages that are coming in and the countries that they're coming in from. We have tags, of course, that help the AI categorize them. Oh, thank you, Troy, for your message. So Troy actually has already started participating and has his students from the summer camp putting in just sharing their own kind of messages that are now going to be integrated and become part of this living archive. But what makes it all work are tags, categories. We are going to create, we already did. Okay, got that done. But nothing's here yet. So we're going to be putting tags here for dark skies. There'll be a whole category just for dark skies. And yeah, so I can come in here and tweak things. You can see how many messages are coming in for each of these different tags and categories. And then collections is like right now it's just one collection, but what this allows us to do is to partner, for example, with the dark sky community, which is, I think, has already begun, thanks to Troy, and basically put this out there. This can even be embedded in a website and have the whole dark sky community start to share messages to become part of this archive. And then it can be projected directly from this browser. So it won't need like a complicated, my touch designer from Austria having to fly in to do the projection. Now you'll be able to project it much easier directly from the website. So that is Space Messengers in its latest iteration. I'm going to now stop sharing. I could take some questions any question while I move over to the PowerPoint, if anybody has a burning question or comment.
Agnes, I did just want to elaborate on that ability for people to, engage like Dark Sky International or, anyone that's involved in dark sky endeavors, protecting the night sky. And I think that's one of the things that we've talked about is, seeing how that can be on like the DSI website or, stuff like that. So that's something that in the future, I think we can maybe explore.
Yeah, that is the potential of it now. It's almost done. It's going to be ready by like October. And that is the wonderful potential about it, that we can share it now and it can reach more people through this embed option that it has. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. All right. So connecting people to place, sky, and future. So AstroTour and Space Messengers, they each take a different approach, but they share the same goal, helping people to develop a deeper connection to the night sky, to the places where we live, and to the future we are creating together. So through art, science, technology, and storytelling, we move beyond simply communicating information to creating experiences that inspire this curiosity, participation, and stewardship. One of the ways we're applying these ideas is through citizen science and public land stewardship. And that project I'm going to share next, it's called the Astro Trail. Astro Trail, connecting land, earth, and sky. So here's a quick little graphic. So AstroTrail builds on the AstroTour model that you saw, where the students create these augmented reality experiences that are shared at star parties. But we're bringing these experiences now directly onto public lands. The last one we did, as you saw, was at the Harwood Museum. So we can do it in town, but we can also do it out on these public lands. So in partnership with El Valle astronomers, students and community members are going to be able to participate in star parties at the Cascabel Trailhead while exploring this connection between land, sky, and space. We're also developing an AstroTrail activity guide for classrooms. It's going to start in September. That'll be the first time we do this. We've been mostly operating as an after-school internship program. But now we're going to bring this activity guide into schools, and students will begin with science, place-based learning, and a design challenge, and they'll do all that in the classroom before visiting the site. And then the teacher takes them on field trips, they'll explore the landscape, they'll experience these augmented reality experiences, and they'll be able to contribute their own messages to the future, which become part of our Space Messengers platform. So if we break it down, what we've done is we've broke it down into 3 categories. So Earth, land, and sky, right? So we call it Earth Memory, Sky Weaver, and Space Signals. And you can see the areas that are explored in each one of these. Space Signals, of course, is my favorite because space is my favorite thing. So we're going to kind of synchronize this with the 50th anniversary, or I forgot which year. I think it was the 50th anniversary of the Golden Records, which is happening in 2027, like around I think it's in the spring or the fall. So we're kind of leading up and closing the project with that. So what would you want to say? What message would you want to say to anyone beyond Earth? What do we want to share about humanity? It allows people to look into the future in their explorations, but then we're also connecting it, of course, to the land, the geology and the geological formations that are related to geological formations in space. Arwen is an expert in that area and has a whole curriculum on those connections, ecosystems, and of course, memory, just stories and storytelling that they have around that place in this community. And so all of that comes together in what we call the Astro Trail. So it's a little different from the Astro Tour because it goes a little bit further in connecting to the land. So one important component of Astro Trail is citizen science. So as students and community members explore the trail, they can also contribute to ongoing efforts to better understand and protect our night skies. So this is where Gina Peterson comes in. She's going to be leading these efforts through her work with the Bureau of Land Management, Taos Field Office, Dark Sky, New Mexico. She'll share how citizen science, community engagement, and dark sky conservation come together through AstroTrail, this project, and through the Monuments Dark Sky initiative that she's been involved in. So I'm going to change the slide and then let her explain what we're working on together.
Yeah, so like Agnes was saying, is the AstroTrail project. We received a grant from the state of New Mexico to implement this project on the Rio Grande del Norte National Monument. So we're working through the permitting process right now for that implementation on public lands, but there's several components, like she mentioned, that will not take place on public lands, but the citizen science part that I want to focus on here is really going to help us collect night sky quality data for our the Dark Sky Park certification that I've been helping the monument with while I was working for BLM, and now as I'm retired, I'm still helping them as a volunteer and through Dark Sky New Mexico chapter. So yeah, this is something that I'll train the students, 2 students, on how to use the sky quality meter that you see in the slide here, and they'll be part of that data collection And that information can also be entered into a global database, Globe at Night. I think it's called Globe at Night. And so that's one way that they can, be engaged in a real live, project that is going to happen here in the monument. And the monument is very instrumental and tied to the community of Taos, the Taos Pueblo, the people that have lived in this area for a long time. So it's their backyard. And so there's a lot of ownership. And so, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want me to say about that, Agnes. Yeah, we're going to basically be recording, the data, submitting it. And yeah, it's going to contribute. So once the monument becomes dark sky certified, hopefully in the next few months, we will still need to maintain that sky quality, the dark sky quality. So this will be a reason for the students to continue to stay engaged in the citizen science project, to help us collect that information.
Yes, and she's being very humble because single-handedly, Gina has really initiated to get the city of Taos and the town of Taos to proclamation. They awarded a proclamation that she went to the town to accept, and it's really wonderful because she's mobilized our whole community around this dark sky initiative. Thank you, Gina.
Good work.
From dark skies to shared futures. So Gina's work reminds us that stewardship isn't just an idea. It's something that we practice, right, through participation. And this collaboration is really taking STEMarts Lab to another dimension with the Dark Sky Initiative, because of Gina's real involvement with the community and around this passion for dark sky protection. So finally, just to kind of close up, so whether we're measuring light pollution, or we're contributing observations, or we're creating astrotours, or we're sharing messages about the future, each of these activities helps strengthen our relationship with the night sky and with the places we care about. So at STEMarts, we believe that meaningful stewardship begins with connection to place, connection to community, and connection to the cosmos. And there's no better way to do that than through this integration of art, science, and technology and storytelling. And of course, having the youth being part of that entire process, right? That is the main heart of STEMarts, is that they are part of it from the very beginning, working with the scientists, to working with the artists, to then being part of producing an event in their community or internationally to share what they've created with the world. From wonder to stewardship, from individual voices to shared futures. So I'd like to close by inviting you to become part of the conversation. I look forward to the Q&A. You can scan this and it takes you to all our links, or you can just email me. And so I will stop sharing. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Agnes. Thank you, Gina, for your time today. Thank you for everyone who has been here and participated. We do have some questions, of course, and I am going to start the questions because I believe, I'm not sure, I don't think Sadie's online with us. She was going to do the questions, but I will do a few questions here. So question number one is, when I first saw your video, Agnes, the very first thing that caught my attention, the very first video of this presentation, was this little girl working with VR, connecting her to the universe, right? And through this, I was so touched and moved, full of awe, goosebumps and even some tears, because the power of this, connecting our young people to nature through what they understand. What have you found is the key ingredient that makes all this so meaningful? Is there a key ingredient? That's my question to kick things off.
The key ingredient that makes the magic happen, you mean?
Yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
Well, as you saw, the 45-minute presentation explains all the ingredients that make the magic happen. So if I had to pick one, I don't know if I could. It's that transdisciplinary approach. At the heart of it, it's about empowering youth and mentoring youth. I think I would say the key ingredient really is that at the end, there has to be like an exciting real world event, because otherwise it's just a classroom activity, a workshop, a boot camp.
Right.
The knowledge stays and doesn't get applied, right? And so these SciArt installations are so mind-blowing to like the community. A lot of people have never seen it when they come to see one of our installations. The students get to experience how the community is like in awe, and they
Yes.
are the ones presenting that to them. I think that's the key for me. I think that's when I look at other STEM programs and STEAM programs out there, they don't have that, because this is an art. I'm an artist, first of all. I studied art, and I'm an artist, so I bring the artistic practice to it. And I think that combined with STEM, that's why it's called STEM Arts and Lab, because it's a laboratory. We're always experimenting with the latest cutting edge emerging technologies, which is another thing. So it's exciting to me and to other artists, because we're always on the cutting edge, excited about the latest thing like AI or VR. And when we did the VR. So yeah, I would say that is the key, but it's everything at the same time.
Yeah, I can see that, and I think it also drives passion, right? If we don't have passion as whoever we are, if we're scientists, artists, whatever we are, if we don't have that passion, I think that we lose that, and the children, the students, the people will see that, and
that's right. That is the other thing, is that when we bring in our speakers and our mentors, I bring in people like scientists who are practicing, doing research out on the field. And they are excited about black holes or about planetary, connections, astrogeology or astrobiology, and they're passionate, and that passion gets communicated. So we don't just teach a lesson plan ever. This is just bringing in a real practitioner to share their work, just like we as artists are practitioners. That is a really good point.
My next question is for Gina, and I kind of want to pick her brain for a minute, as there's a few more questions coming up in the chat. But Gina, you've spent, basically a lifetime involved with land stewardship, basically, the national parks and dark skies and all of this. And we're looking at Agnes's presentation and all the work that she's done. If I am someone in our cooperative and I'm in a small rural community, how do we go about generating the excitement and the passion for something like this? And what's been your experience over your lifetime of work?
Well, I won't talk about my experience over my lifetime of work, but yeah, I think, Taos is a small community. It's only 6,500, I think, around there, the population. And so, if we can do it here in Taos, we can do it, anywhere. And I think, the previous question about like, what is the ingredient or whatever, I think, first of all, it starts with the students, it's like, and I think I asked Agnes this before, but it was like, or maybe I asked the students, I was like, well, how did you get interested in even participating in this program, with STEMarts Lab? And, because it's not like your regular classroom science, project or whatever. So I think for me here, learning how this has been like so engaging with the community, once they see it, it's so hard to like wrap your mind around it. It was for me because I'm not a techie and I'm not a scientist. And so, when I was like, okay, art, science, technology, space, how does that all fit together? It wasn't until I really saw it that I was like, wow, that was that wow factor and that awe. And that's what in the community everyone is learning about too. And there's this project called the Paseo that Agnes helped co-found as well several years ago. But it's an annual project that happens throughout, they close like several streets in downtown. And it's at night and everything is related to, like night and illumination of different stories being told throughout the streets. And Space Messengers was displayed there last year. And I think, again, once people experience it, see it, then that's how the community gets really fired up about it and wants to learn more about it. And it's not just here in Taos, it can be shared anywhere, like Agnes was saying. So I think it's pretty exciting that, anybody really can take this idea and implement it in their small community.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Gina. Last summer, I was invited to Portugal to do a similar project with the arts and an installation in a very small community, Messejana, south of Lisbon. And Messejana is a town of 600 or 700 people, and they have an art nonprofit there that I was invited to come to. So you're absolutely right. I think it's bringing in the right people, the right passions, and believing that this can happen in our communities. So thank you, Gina and Agnes. One other question here that popped up that we can address. It says from Dina, what is the cost of attending the Astro Tour? And I would like to create a fund to be able to send some youth from Picasso Springs to it. And so do we have cost? How do we tackle that, Agnes?
Well, first of all, thank you. That's wonderful to hear that you're so inspired that you want to send students. I really appreciate that. So first of all, everything we do is free. So we raise funds so that we can offer it free to our community, everything. Secondly, because we are a small nonprofit, basically moi, right, with a lot of contractors wearing many hats, we are not really ready yet to expand beyond New Mexico. We're still in the process of developing a model for New Mexico, for a state that then can be exported, to other states. But we do create some projects in the meantime, like Space Messengers, which does allows anyone to participate in it, and we're expanding on that. Also, all of our material that we produce as part of the workshops is available for free. So you should contact me and see, like, the Astro Trail curriculum guide that we're going to put together. That will be free and you can use it. But at the moment, we're only taking New Mexico students for our actual live workshops just because of our capacity limitation. But thank you for your interest, and do reach out for me to share all of our free resources and participate in Space Messengers.
Perfect. Thank you, Agnes. Yeah, I will definitely reach out. You're doing some great work and you're very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dina, so much. We have a technical question, Agnes, maybe you can answer from Jim up in the Olympic Peninsula. He's asking about Space Messenger and the lines between the topics. He's asking, do those lines represent links between the comments, or is it just simply a visual element? It's speaking about.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. All those lines are real data visualization. Nothing is there just for pretty. So they are connecting the different disciplines and topics. So whenever a connection is made, it draws those lines. And so as this gets used, new lines will be created and new clusters will be created as the AI starts to make new connections with new messages. So this what you saw doesn't have the actual data yet brought in, all the 2,000 messages. It only has some. So it's still very rudimentary, connecting clusters. But eventually this will be very interesting. And I'm very excited to see what new clusters are formed once we start to get hopefully tens of thousands of messages, not just 2,000 or 3,000 messages. So it is a data visualization piece that will only get better with more people contributing to it.
Great. Thanks, Agnes. Thanks, Jim, for your question. Olivia has her hand up. We'll take Olivia's question, and then we'll go with Lisa has one question, and that'll be about all the time we have. So, Olivia, can you speak your question?
Sure can. Hi.
Okay, great.
I'm so glad to be here. And I also nearly got emotional when watching the videos because how powerful to see young people being so enthusiastically involved. I'm an executive director for the Western Slope Dark Sky Coalition, and one of the things that I want to do is to get more students involved. And so the fact that this is an incredible way to get students involved. I have someone particularly who's interested in climate change, and they're also an artist. And so I was wondering, do you have any advice for students who are just starting out and who are interested in getting more involved in the STEM art labs, but being in Colorado and not New Mexico?
Yeah, well, actually, I have more flexibility there. So my artistic team and my scientific team is from all over the country and all over the world. So if you do have an artist that would like to be a part of it, they can contact me. We're always looking for speakers, passionate speakers to share. So there we can go across borders. So they should definitely reach out to me.
Okay, cool. Wrote it down. Thank you so much.
Great.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Olivia. Thanks so much. And finally, this is working with classroom teachers. Lisa says that you have such an amazing team in New Mexico and abroad. I'm interested in facilitating connections with STEMarts Lab and local schools in northern Utah. Could you tell us how you have worked with individual K-12 teachers in different states? Is there any information about that? Thank you, Lisa.
Well, as I keep saying, sadly, and I feel terrible to have to say no, right? Because I want everyone to, I want to work with everyone, but I can't yet. So in terms of working with teachers in other states, what I am doing and what already exists on my website are lots of free resources. So for example, I do these design challenges. They're called International Space Design Challenge. We've been doing them for years. All of the material there, and that is available online. This AstroTrail will be available online. So anything we produce, I can share with teachers. So I definitely encourage you to reach out. But currently, we can't deliver like workshops beyond New Mexico because our grants are New Mexico grants or specific to our community. So we are very grant driven and funding driven. So depending on what we get, we then focus on development around that area. But in general, the STEMarts mission is also to connect New Mexico students to the world and the world to New Mexico as a scalable model that then hopefully will be duplicated in other states. So my goal is eventually to expand beyond.
Agnes, I'm so impressed. You've done so much work, and I really want to, maybe we could get some grants to have students from here go there, kind of hopping on Dina's comment, and Olivia had similar concerns. So yeah, you have something.
You know what you could do? You could have a field trip come to the event, the live event. And then if you could get funding for that, like for the next one coming up is the Los Alamos Science Festival. It's in September. And or the Paseo, every other year we have our festival in Taos. That would be interesting because then when they come, they get to have the whole experience.
Yeah. Okay.
And we could even have like set up like a session where your students meet the ambassadors that are the experience guides.
Yeah.
That we could arrange. That could be part of event funding. I hadn't thought of that. That's an interesting way.
We have a little bit of funding from a small grant, and I'd love to utilize in the best way. We've used some of it already to buy light bulbs. Thank you to Bill in Oregon, Dark Sky, Oregon. We also, I'm really hoping to get our kids really involved, and this is a wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Agnes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm so glad you
Lisa.
mentioned it. That's a great, let's pursue that. Anytime we have an event, the LinkedIn, well, you have my links, right? You can contact me, and if you go to the website, STEMarts.com, I encourage you to go to the bottom and sign up for the newsletter, because that's when we share what is the next event.
Okay.
So the Los Alamos Science Festival is the next one in September, but you'll get to know all the ones and you can plan ahead which one you want to send students to. And if you do, you tell me, and then I'll set up a special group sessions with our ambassadors and, sharing out. That'll make it not just going to the event. You'll be part of our team. So you'll be the VIP at our event.
Sounds
you,
great.
Agnes.
Thank you, Lisa, for that. That's great. Agnes, thank you.
you.
Well, we are out of time today. We said we would end right at noon, and so we are just a few minutes over. But we want to thank Agnes, Gina. Thank you for being with us today and for sharing this very important and amazing work. I think I speak for everybody on the call. We're blown away by this. I want to thank everyone who's joined us today for our quarterly connections. Thank Dr. Smith for supporting us to continue this work and to strengthen the Dark Sky Cooperative by learning together. And today's conversation reminds me that protecting the night sky is not only about what we remove, it's about what we make possible. We make wonder possible, we make discovery possible, communities possible, and it's such an important work that we do. Before we close, a few quick reminders. Today's recording will be posted on our YouTube channel later this week, so please feel free to share it with those that you love and care about. Share it wide, worldwide, we'll get it out there. Please also visit our newly updated Dark Sky Cooperative website. Look for us on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and we'll continue to adding resources and event information, partner updates, and ways to stay involved. And finally, please mark your calendars for our next quarterly connection on September 22nd. I just heard from Dr. Danielle Adams. She's on the call today, our Executive Director of Flagstaff Dark Sky Coalition. She has agreed to present next time on September 22nd on her way to Chaco Canyon. She says she'll pull over and she'll present what she has to say. And so we look forward to that September 22nd. And thank you, Dr. Adams, for your willingness to participate. Thank you again for being here, for the work that everyone's doing, and for your continued to help build this beautiful cooperative and this beautiful world that we live in. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And thanks again, Agnes, for your time, and Gina as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks, gang. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dark Sky people.